Hi, everyone. Welcome to MangaPod. That is so far going off completely.
Really, it's going really well. It's not like, okay, so here's what happened. I'm going to switch us over. So it's our cameras. And right when I said that, Dodger froze.
I was like...
Dodger froze for me. And I was like, no. And then she typed in the chat. She's like, Aaron, I can't call you back.
Yeah, every time I was trying to call her back, it was like, the internet connection is not strong between you two. And I was like, no! I felt like I was in Star Wars.
It is.
Like, your connection must be stronger.
We're not good enough friends to make our internet's best friends, apparently.
I know. Jeez, whatever.
We're
world.
here now. And this is MangaPod. If you've never joined us before, we're a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we read all or parts of a manga / manhwa in the case of this week's. And we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you may notice. You may notice that this is the first all-lady pod we have ever had.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a full cast of characters. All four of us are here right on time, as you can tell.
So we, like Yoku, usual, tears and crying into his vodka.
Obviously.
Daza dressed as a nurse.
Yeah, Daza being a hot nurse. And
lolling.
His name.
He's lolling all the time. If you don't know Daza, you know that he lolls. Obviously. Yeah, welcome to MangaPod. This is a special duo pod this week because unfortunately both Daza and Yoku could not make it, but we loved The Breaker so much, and also we didn't really want to shift around the schedule too much, but we loved The Breaker so much that we still wanted to discuss it, and also because we had a lot of people saying that they were looking forward to discussing it with us.
Yeah, so many people told me that it was like their favorite manga. They were like, "Oh my god, you're talking about The Breaker? I'm so excited!"
Yeah, like, you're finally talking about Breaker, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay."
Okay.
Breaker is the new Tower of God, apparently.
What are you guys gonna do, Breaker?
We're gonna do more
Wait,
Breaker.
what's the name? New Waves? Is that the name of the second
I
part? Everybody was like, "Are you reading New Waves or are you reading original?" I was like, "I don't know."
I will say that if you start out reading New Waves, you'll be very confused. You won't know who anybody is.
Oh no, did that happen?
You'll get halfway through a chapter and then be like, maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be. And that's what happens.
Man.
It's really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Something, like, I don't think it's a major spoiler. Like, something happened and I was like, okay, that might have spoiled me on something. But as I was reading, I was like, I don't know if it spoiled me or not, but I'll probably realize it when it actually happens.
Look, just take solace in the fact that in the end, it's probably still more interesting than Mason Ikoku.
That's true. I'll take solace in that fact for everything.
I'm so bitter that I read so much of that manga. So,
that's right. I forgot about that.
It was like fucking 60 chapters of that manga. Just like...
I can't imagine. I was bitter over, like, 30 chapters of that. Weren't we going to read to 46 or something? And then we were like, we're going to cut this short. This is ridiculous.
It took so long to get through.
It took so long because we just didn't like it. It was just...
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible.
We cheated, okay? We
did.
cheated.
Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. You're getting a
now
look.
You know the truth. Oh my goodness.
Behind the Manga. VH1's new original series. Featuring MangaPod. Welcome. But yes, this week we read The Breaker, chapters 1 through 36. If you never joined us for MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description, aka summary, and then our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read the manhwa or not. Then we will jump into spoiler section. You are free to stick around for spoiler section if you do not care about the spoilers, but we do warn you that we're going to be talking about what we read, and there's stuff that happens that you may not want to know about. So
filters off, man. Filters will be
gone.
off.
Very, very rarely does the spoiler finger make an appearance. Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense. Hold on. A spoiler.
Sometimes spoiler figure only shows up if we're spoiling something from a completely different manga because we don't care about spoiling you on the manga we just read. Flip tables.
Oh gosh, yes, there you go. There it is.
We are not going to keep on track at all. No. This was our worst idea.
This was We read, what was the other one we duo-podded? We did,
Have we done a duo?
Yeah, we did Hajime no Ippo. That's what we duoed. We duo-podded.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we?
Okay. How do you not remember this?
I don't remember this. Wait, I'm clicking on it.
Wow, I thought our friendship. I thought our friendship meant something to you.
I'm sorry.
I thought our friendship meant something to you. Oh, apparently.
No, Erica was there.
What?
It was Yumi and Erica, right?
During Hajime
Wasn't.
no Ippo?
Wasn't. It was just you and I.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whoa,
friend. Yeah,
we've
best friend.
done-
Whatever. Block it out. I don't care.
I'm sorry.
I don't feel anything anymore. Whatever. Might as well
I
be
had
doing it
so
alone, I
much
guess.
fun.
I
I
don't
had
know.
so much fun that my brain blocked it out.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
This
Shall we give our spoiler-free description?
Yeah.
I can read it. I think.
Okay.
Hang on, let me make sure. By the way, huh?
So.
I was gonna say give a disclaimer right now that I am nowhere near as familiar with Korean names as I am with Japanese names or English names, so I'm gonna butcher all of these. And also, both Dodger and I don't quite remember all of the names. Like, they just would not stick. So we'll be referring to them as different tropes or characteristics. So just so you know, if you haven't read the manga, you'll know who the characters are when you go read
God,
it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
They're like, there are definitely like 3 more cool teacher guys that show up, so I don't know which one you're talking
Which
about.
one?
Just like, dang it.
It's like, we weren't descriptive enough. Okay, I'm gonna hop into the spoiler-free description. You ready?
Yes.
The new English teacher, Chun Woo, is not your ordinary teacher. Shiun, a victim of constant bullying, unexpectedly witnesses Chun Woo's fighting power and begs him to make him his disciple. Chun Woo claims he can teach Shion only if he is truly determined, and Shiun must jump off a bridge into a deep river in order to prove it. It turns out, however, that Chun Woo and his powers are more than meets the eye. Shishu makes a grand entrance into the hidden world of martial arts, and he's about to be taught by the best there is. Yeah. There it is. There's the description.
There it is.
Description. It's about martial arts.
Mm-hmm. Spoiler-free recommendations?
Yeah, I recommend it. At the first, it starts out pretty generic and pretty standard, but it quickly kicks in to action and is really exhilarating and really fun, and they're really building up a lot of interesting plot lines that are going to interweave, and I think really, when they come to a head, are going to be incredibly fascinating. And also, the characters in the same way start out pretty typical, but by the few chapters in, you really start to enjoy both them and their interactions with one another, and get really excited by certain characters being in certain scenes, or just the prospect of certain characters being in scenes. So I really, really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it if you like martial arts and a really good fighting manhwa or comic book. The art at first is a little bit hard to follow at times, but I think later on it gets really clean, and the way they do action scenes is just so good. So I highly recommend it, especially if you like more mature martial arts stories.
I totally agree. Both Aaron and I finished reading this really early, days ago, because we started to read it, being on top of our stuff. We started to read it, and both of us just blasted through it, because it starts off feeling like, all right, I've read this story before. This feels like other stories I've read. This isn't really gonna shock me at all, but people say it's good. And then you get to a certain point where you're like, oh, damn, this world is getting a little interesting. And then the characters get more interesting. And then you're hoping for things to happen. And then when they do happen, you're just like, ah, you get really excited.
Yeah.
By the time we had to stop, I wanted to read more so bad. But I was like, if I read more, I'm going to be so messed up. I'm not going to remember where we were supposed to stop.
Yep.
So I had to force myself to stop reading it. But that's kind of a testament to how fun it winds up being to read and how engaged you get with the story. So yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, so you've got 2 recommendations. I didn't get Yoku or Daz's recommendations, so I don't know what they feel, but
They both say it's the best manga ever, 10 out of 10.
No, I guess they should just tell us themselves, because they're right there.
Yeah, they are right there.
Oh
Oh my god, 10 out of 10, best manga. All right, cool. Thanks ladies.
guys. Yeah, it's good. Good. I wanted to see if my Twitter tweeted in a different language yet. Oh, yep, it did.
What language? Is it similar?
I think it's Spanish this time.
Oh.
It says, "Hey, empezado un streaming en directo en YouTube."
Why does that happen?
I was hoping for Swedish. I want Swedish or Dutch next time. Okay, YouTube? If you're gonna...
Yeah, YouTube, if you could just make this happen.
Hang on, I need to be like, yep, thanks. That's right. Good. Perfect. Okay. There we go. If we just gave our spoiler-free recommendation and our description. So if you want to go ahead and read this manga and do not want to be spoiled for it, then take your leave. Right now, we're not going to give you any other warnings, but you can also go read it and then come back and watch the VOD of this on my channel right here, youtube.com/happilyerin. We also want to give a warning to those in chat who have read all the way up to the end of Breaker and also Breaker New Waves that we've only read the first 36 chapters. Dodger just said that we had trouble not reading past that. So, know that we have not read past that.
So don't ruin this for us.
Do not.
If you ruin this.
We
had to work so hard to not read more. I'd be really angry with you. So angry.
No.
That's your body.
Zero tolerance.
In half.
Snap you rotten bacon butts if you do that. Yeah. There you go. Shall we jump into spoilers?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get out of here.
She woo woo was God.
She woo woo is God.
Woo woo.
It's like the only name we remember.
Because it's so fun to say. I'm sure we're pronouncing it wrong. She woo. She woo. She woo woo. We should, if they ever make an English dub of this that somehow becomes an anime from the manga, we should just voice anytime somebody says Shinwoo. It's like a super deep voice that the teacher dude talks normal in a super deep voice, and then he starts to say the guy's name, and it's just us going Shinwoo, like both of us, not just one of us, both of us together.
Of course,
of course, every
Naturally.
time. That's what's gonna happen. Hey, in studios, we're here. Yeah.
Aaron, what were your expectations for this manga?
I actually...
Manhwa, I'm sorry. Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh. We're going to get hated so much.
Just offending everyone.
I think we might have done that when we went, Shinwoo! Like, let's not pretend that we still have respect with these viewers.
Literally spent moments at a time going, Shinwoo! Cool, are you still here?
Great. It's nice to have you. It's nice that you're back. The only expectation I had for this manhwa was that people told me countless of times that they absolutely loved it. And it's always on, whenever I go to like Manga Here or Batoto, it's always on, the Breaker New Waves is always on like hot, like recently updated, super hot, like really popular, like all of those. So I'd seen the cover of it numerous times, and so I was like, people love this. They hear it's really good. I tend to really like a lot of stuff people tell me is really good. I tend to really like it. But I had no idea what it was actually about. I didn't know it was about martial arts. I had no idea that's what it was about. I thought it was about like magic and all of this stuff. And so when I was like reading it and I was just going, is there magic gonna happen? Like, is it gonna happen? And then I realized, it finally clicked that it's just martial arts. I was like, okay, I can still get behind this. Like, it's been a really long time since I've read a martial arts story of any sort. And so, yeah, my expectations were to really enjoy it. Had no expectations story-wise because I had no idea going into it what it was gonna be. But I do think that what the story was really exceeded my expectations because I really enjoyed what I read.
Yeah, I felt the same way. The only thing that I knew was that it was shonen, or well, Daz is not here. Yeah, but it was the shonen genre.
This Dazza knows that shonen is the genre.
I didn't know anything about the story, same as you. I didn't know it had anything to do with martial arts. I just knew that it was going to have fights of some sort, and I entirely based that on the covers. Because the covers just looked like really aggressive people who wanted to fight. Yeah. So I was like, all right, this is probably a fighting manga, right? A battle manga of some sort. And yeah, when we first started reading it, I was like, dang it, this is so like predictable so far. It's just like kid who gets beat up and, you know, is a coward, and then he meets somebody and he's like, I want to be just like you. And they're like, whatever, kid, you don't got what it takes. And the kid's like, no, I do. Here, let me show you all of this crazy courage that I'm going to pull out of nowhere. I was like, okay, all right. And then it like, I think around the time that it started to click for me that these martial arts groups are like equivalent to gangsters or like mob groups in this world was when I was like, this is kind of cool. Like all of the groups have kind of like a Godfather-y, like mafia feel to them or Yakuza feel. And I thought that was so interesting, like all the different families and like, you know, who's sided with who. And that's when I started to get really invested. And then they started to introduce really cool characters and stuff. And yeah, I had no expectations for this manga at all. and then it crept up on me and I was like, I want so many things to happen.
I want more.
Yeah, man.
The nice thing about it is, sorry, somebody tweeted at me, goes, nice Spanish.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I'm great. Yeah, I know. I think what also makes me really happy is the fact
Tessa just tweeted at me and said shonen isn't a genre.
I saw that he's in chat.
Look, Dazza, I gotta bust your balls while you're not here. It's just like it's gonna happen. Anyway, sorry.
It's a thing. No, I was gonna say something that makes me also really excited is the fact that I like that we're reading it now that the first series has been completed, because we know that it ramps up to a certain point and we get some closure on something and then it kicks into, at least that's what I'm assuming. I haven't actually read it, but what I'm assuming is that it like build up to a point where the author knew what they were building to. And so that means there's going to be some sort of closure or jump into something else that could probably be really interesting. And so that makes me really happy, because it's nice, because we don't usually read a lot of completed manhwa or manga. I don't know. I mean, Mason Ikoku was completed, but I didn't give a fuck about where that was going.
We cared so little that we looked up what the end of it was.
Oh, that's right. Then we had our spoiler finger.
Yeah, and then the spoiler finger happened.
That's right. Okay.
See?
Memories.
We use it sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes me really excited about the fact that it is leading, like the story is going to a determined destination. It doesn't just seem like stuff is being thrown in there, and you can definitely tell very early on that parts are being planted to like manifest and grow later on. Especially with having emo prodigy dude meet Shinwoo. Like, which
that was,
can we talk about?
I spent so long. I spent like a half of the chapters that we read being like, I hope they meet. It's like, I wanted them to meet so bad, because it was so obvious that he was like the young person who had really mastered his abilities, right? Who was like very serious. And I was like, I just want him to meet this kid who has so much power just like sitting in him and he doesn't know what to do with it. I just want him to be like, you are quite powerful, I see, and him be like, ha! Like, I just wanted that to happen so bad.
If you guys were wondering, who she was talking about, wanting her crack ship to meet.
Yeah, that was my crack ship. I was like, I just need them to like eye bang a little bit, and that's all I need. Like, that's all I want out of this, is for them to lock eyes and have this really awkward moment where he's like, why are you so powerful? You're really useless. I don't understand what's happening. And the way that it played out was so above and beyond my expectations. It was so good. Like, the confusion level ramped. Like, it was just like, why are you still standing up? Like, it just got so good.
And then it built into like the confusion, and then he started to feel a little bit fear, because this is not what he knew, because like Shinwoo didn't know what he was up against. He was just having like his courage and heart moment. Like, he just never gave up. But like emo prodigy kid was like, I've never seen this before. Like, they would just give up by now. What is happening? What's going on? And now it's piqued the interest, and now he just can't stop thinking about it, and they're gonna bang someday. I know.
Yeah, I mean, really, if I wrote this manga, that's how it would go. But
really, your NaNoWriMo is just Shinwoo X emo prodigy kid fanfiction.
It's all a fanfiction. There's a reason that I labeled it as erotic.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. Like, yeah, there are so many characters that have been placed where I'm like, man, I think that interaction is going to be really cool, and that interaction is going to be really cool, you know? And like, there are characters who may never come back, but I really hope they do. Like yeah, we meet again, cutie guy.
I loved him.
Dude, the biker gang,
Yes.
head of the biker gang group.
I hope he comes back. As we was thinking about it,
Me
like
too.
his exit was very definitive, but I'm also like, he didn't die though.
No, because they like went to find him in the hospital with like his arm all stitched up,
so
and
he
they
was
were
like,
like, "Never thought I'd
died.
see you so low." And he was like, "Yo, dog, you don't even understand what's happening right now."
I absolutely loved that scene where it wasn't like he was the typical bad guy that was just going to keep fighting against the teacher dude just because he had like some pride that had been bent. Instead, the guy was like, I am so sorry that you're the one I'm up against. He was so terrified, and it was so out of the norm that it just reinforced how powerful and terrifying the teacher guy is. And I loved that. Like, it was
Not only
so
that,
different.
Not only that, but I loved that he had been portrayed as kind of this like crazy animalistic sort of leader. It reminded me a lot of oh my gosh, I can't even remember his name from Berserk. The kind of wolf-like raid leader.
I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking
Yeah, I can't remember his name either, but it made me think about him, and I was like, oh man, is he going to be like that super psycho leader, right?
Yeah.
And I loved that we got that moment where he literally cut off his own arm and was like, don't hurt any of these people. Like, you can take my life, you can have me, that's fine, but like, let them all go because they trust in me. And I was like, oh, you're like a good leader, you know? Like, your group is all just shitty people, but you're a good leader. Like, I thought that was cool. It made me want to see them again, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I really liked that. And it was also really neat to see Shin Woon's interactions with him too after. Okay, actually, I'm going to put a pin in something and come back to it.
Yes.
Talking about that. But watching Shin Woon get up in between them and be like, no, don't kill him is really interesting too. Because you tend to see that very intense morale, like good guy, don't kill anybody, like present. It's a very standard trope, especially in martial arts. Like Goku is a shining example of that, especially early on. And so you always see that, but here it just felt, I don't know, it felt really nice still to see it. I didn't, like, when it happened, I wasn't like, oh, of course. I was like, Shin Woon, you're so precious! You just had, at that point, you'd really enjoyed his character, and so seeing him do that felt completely in the norm and completely believable, and just watching the entire interaction between all of them was really interesting and made it that much more fascinating, I think.
Yeah, and I liked that he quoted his own words back to him as like, you're the reason that I have the courage to stand up to you right now.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah, I was like, oh!
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really good. I totally agree. And it also brought up so many questions because they were like, oh man, that reminds me of you when you said this exact same stuff. And I was like, what changed?
Yeah,
What changed? Nine
Arts Dragon.
Nine Dragon.
Listen, sometimes there's
you.
like really cool names of stuff, but that name, like, it just keeps catching me off guard every time it comes up. I'm like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue.
I know.
Like, Nine Arts Dragon.
Nine Arts Dragon. The Nine Arts Dragon.
Nine Arts
that
Dragon.
guy.
You know the Nine Arts Dragon?
Hot teacher.
Hot teacher. With super abs and smokes a lot. Keeps trying to bang the one teacher and failing
He wants to
miserable.
bang that teacher so bad. I'm like, girl, you need to just stop going on dates with this guy.
Just stop. He's gonna keep ditching you. Just stop.
Yeah.
It's your own fault at this point. The pinpoint thing I was gonna talk about was when the biker gang caught up to Shin Woon and the girl, and they started dragging him back, like chained him to the bike, and then started pulling him, and he was like screaming. I was like, he would die. I don't care if he regenerates fast, he would die. That was like the one, of all this entire thing, the one moment of disbelief I had was that. I was like, he would have dead. He would have dead so hard.
I was the same way because we had already established that, like, with enough force, with enough like energy and like tension in his body and enough force against it, like he would literally blow up. Yeah. So I was like, his body would explode by now. Like, he is under so much stress. He's experiencing so much pain. I was like, how are you alive? This doesn't make any sense.
It didn't work at all. I was like, come on. I mean, it made for a very shudder-inducing moment where you're just like, no. And he got hella beat up, which made the rage inside of Teacher Man even that more like, I must avenge my students.
I know.
Can we talk about how adorable it is how at the start he was like, I just want this kid to leave me alone. I'm going to keep trying to challenge him until he finally gives up. And then he kept being so stubborn. And, like, I love that trope. The character where it's, like, somebody's so stubborn that they just weasel their way into the other character's heart. And the character, like, becomes super possessive and defensive of them. It's the same idea, like, I'm the only one who can call him stupid. Like, that same kind of idea.
Exactly like that.
And so, like, to see him just now to get to the point where he gets so angry at any point, like, his student is threatened. Just makes me really happy. I'm like, you guys are so cute.
Yeah, there were moments with that where I was like, man, he went from being a super wimp to like not being a super wimp anymore really fast. But I was kind of okay with it because that's such a shonen thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? For the character to just be like, I can't do anything right. And then just, you know, make a decision to become stronger. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, find strength in that decision and that sort of a thing. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I always love...
No, keep going.
I was just going to say, to build off that, like, with that same kind of trope always comes along it's physically impossible for him to do this. And, like, a day later, he's, like, almost done it. But what I liked about this was that he literally almost died. Like, he had a heart seizure because he was trying so hard. I was like, it just made him really endearing to me. But at the same time, it is definitely the thing where, like, yep, he's going to get really strong really quickly, and everybody's going to be really impressed by how often he can punch really easily now.
Yeah, because, like, he was like, it'll take him at least a month to get that punch down. But I liked that it didn't just come to him. Like, he was practicing it all the time. Yeah. And everybody kept being like, stop practicing, you're hurt. And he was like, I'm just, you know, bored. I was just trying the punch. And then once he finally mastered it, he almost killed a dude.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was just the perfect way for that to escalate. Mm-hmm. Where it was like, he's finally learned this ability. He's finally been given kind of the responsibility of having this power.
Yeah. And
he nearly kills one of his schoolmates, you know, even though that guy's a dick, right?
Huge
like we all know he's an actual asshole, but
I don't like him.
Like, obviously he doesn't want to murder somebody.
Yeah, and
so.
And I like that played into the role of, like, again showing his morals and what he believes in and the reason that he got the power and the fact that hasn't changed. And I loved the, like, quick flashback we had of Dragon Teacher Man in the very last chapter we read of his teacher saying the same. What I also liked about that is that it was worded differently but said basically the same thing. It wasn't just verbatim what Shimoon had said, and I was like, yes.
I know. I felt the same way. I was like, oh, that's not lazy storytelling.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's like,
good job.
The good way of, like, foreshadowing, like, doing that. It was really good. I liked it.
What I wanted to ask, my pin from before. How do you feel about the girl who has all of her nodes, like, blocked off?
Oh, I'm interested. Like,
me too.
She's got the little tsundereness going to her.
She does.
Like,
yeah.
At one point I was like, oh, I hope she's not just a tsundere character that's just there to, like, aid in his character development. But I think it's what's been set up for her storyline is really interesting, and I like the interaction. Instead of it being to build his character development, I like that it's going to be her, like, wanting to grow and, like, figure out and kind of get better too. And so I think it's going to really aid. It's going to be a duo thing. I think it's going to aid both of them a lot. And so I really like her story. I like her storyline more so than I think I like her character so much.
Same here.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because they left you for so many chapters wondering why Hot Nurse gave him that, like, thing to eat in the first place.
Yeah.
You were like, why would she do that? And it, you know, I liked that that once we got that part of the story, it was like, oh my God, because he had nodes closed and he was so like held back by that. And then he ate the thing and his body could handle it. Like it was a test, right?
Yeah.
And I liked that they didn't spell that out for you. It just, once you got the rest of the story, you were like, oh,
You're like, oh, what?
I get it.
And it also makes me interested. Actually, no, it probably doesn't make sense. But like this is just a
They
thought.
were gonna say, actually, it doesn't make me interested at all. It's like, oh, okay.
Actually, I'm just all flippy floppy. No,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, one thought I had popped in my head. I have no idea if it would work at all. Was like wondering if the teacher fed that to him, like as a test, but also maybe to keep it out of the hands of other people.
Right.
Especially with her having that issue, and like in the very second to last chapter, I think it was, where Emo Kid was talking to like Beard Dude.
Beard Papa.
Beard Papa. Yeah.
Beard Papa is a cream puff chain.
If you didn't know that.
Just FYI.
Who it is, like, if you Google Beard Papa, it is a guy who, like, has a beard, and he probably is a papa.
It's true,
That's
yeah.
what it is, and it's cream puffs, and it's delicious.
Pretty descriptive, yeah.
But, like, during that conversation, emo-haired prodigy dude connected the dots of that stone thing went missing. At the same time, the girl went missing. And so it's like he thinking it's totally possible that they're going to feed that to the girl to have her nose open up. But it's like it's already been ingested into one dude. But are there multiples, or was there just one?
I think there was more than one.
Okay, I didn't know if I missed that detail. I couldn't remember.
I think they specified that there were two. I can't remember,
Yeah,
honestly.
I couldn't remember. And so that was making me wonder if, like, because I am interested to know why the health advisor and the Alex, I can remember his name, why they kidnapped her, because I want to find out more to that, because did they say straight up why their mission was that? They didn't say straight up, right? Or did they? I might have missed it, but
I think they touched on it, but I can't really remember all the details.
yeah.
It was like she was the heir, right?
Yeah.
But she couldn't use any power because of like her body chemistry and her nodes and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's God, I don't want to say this in case it's wrong, but I thought that they were kind of ramping toward a conflict, right? With another group. And so they were taking her away to keep her safe. But then there was the whole thing with her being like, well, I'm not going to act on behalf of anyone because I can't make choices that are going to seem like an act of war or otherwise. Like, I represent my family, basically.
Yeah.
And so, like, you can tell that not all of this is, like, most of this is against her will. She doesn't feel, like, scared, but she's also not getting to make any choices in this matter, which is kind of interesting. She's just kind of like along for the ride. Yeah. So I'm the same way as you. I'm hoping that she kind of gets a bit more agency somehow.
Yeah, I think so too. There's something I was gonna say. I can't, because like they were to touch on like the conflict between the two families that might be happening. Like that might be why she was taken away. I wonder if it has to do with like, because the Black Defiance, the resistance group people that are bringing the martial arts world into the real world, which is another incredibly fascinating thing. But I wonder if it had something to do with them too. Because did they specify if the health advisor is part in cahoots with like teacher? Did they say anything like that? I'm wondering if that's really something.
Yeah, because they've had a couple of phone calls now where teacher dude has been like, our plans up till now will be lost forever if we don't fix this thing, right? To like imply that they've been working together on something.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that like maybe the 15-year-old, the girl, something with her ends up just colliding the two worlds, or like something big explodes because of this. I'm excited to see the plan that unravels and how she's like an important part of that plan.
Yeah. Well, sorry, keep going.
No, you can.
All I was going to say is she's made it very clear that she hates that world, right? Like she hates the whole, I can't remember, Murim? Is that what they're called?
Yeah. What it sounds like.
That she hates like that whole culture She hates the sense of like only the strong survive, and power and family is everything, and all of these things that are common tropes in just normal stories. But when it's like, we're from martial arts mobster families, it like gets ramped up a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could totally see that happening. I could totally see her being part of kind of this plan to like just break that mold, right? To kind of rewrite the rules, to go back to that whole speech.
Yeah.
Rewriting the rules of this whole culture, because if you're powerful enough, then you have the right to do that,
Which is really cool, especially just the fact that they have it as martial arts is a hidden world or like a world hidden off, like supposed to be kept secret from the normal world, and how they have that dynamic and how it's going to just like combust and explode. It's going to be, I wonder if there's going to be war. I want there to be war between martial arts.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can we talk about a scene that I thought was super weird?
Yes.
When, so the dude who owned, which school was his? The like school that they visited where they were keeping those little balls.
Oh yeah, I know which one. He was
like a hot dude in the white suit. That guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So the whole scene where he called hot nurse out to the bar, and she came to the bar and was like, "What up, baby?" And he was like, "I know you took my shit." And she was like, "I don't know what you're talking about, baby." And he was like, And then all of his dudes came out, right? And then she just like whooped all their asses and left. And he was like, "I like you."
Yeah. I was like, was that a translation?
I know.
Was that a translation?
I don't understand. Are you like declaring like, "Be my girlfriend," as like all of your men are like shooting at her? I was just like, I don't understand.
Listen, it's a different world. The Miriam, we don't understand how they live.
That's how they propose, man. They're like,
yeah,
if you can live through all of this gunfire, then we're meant to be.
There was a few times, like a few scenes that I was like, oh, okay, was that? I didn't know if that was like, it wasn't bad. It was just felt weirdly placed, like a weird.
Yeah.
And like the character of his friend, of Shinwon's friend, I understand that she. I was like, do you not even remember?
I was imagining like a best dude friend.
Okay.
And then I remembered like that his best friend is like the hottest girl at school.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
anyway, keep going.
The hot girl at school. There was a few moments where I understood the fact that the reason he needed the motivation to get stronger because he wanted to protect something he loves, which is a very standard idea in a lot of shonen, where it's like, I want to be stronger so I can protect the ones I love.
Right.
But the scenes with her at like later on always just felt so just injected and then left. It just felt like they always felt very weirdly unnecessary or out of place for me. Just like it was a reminder that she's who he was fighting for.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, after the 5th time I was like, I get it. I know he's still fighting for her. But I think it was because she also didn't have enough personality for me.
She doesn't have a lot of personality, no. And I did get the sense that the reason those scenes kept happening is because we, as the reader, knew that if she were to ever be alone with those guys, it would be really bad, right?
Yeah.
And when we finally like got to that scene where that came to a head, so all of those scenes that kind of led up to that felt sort of like, there's a tension there that she doesn't get.
Yeah.
Where she's just like, your friends are here to see if you're okay. And I'm like, they're not his friends. Are you kidding me right now? Like, can you not see that he is so uncomfortable being around these people?
She didn't pick up an atmosphere very well.
She did not know. She did not read the room, as it were. She was really bad at that.
Real bad.
But I did like that at the beginning we kind of established that the reason, at first I assumed that the reason that he always ran away from her and didn't want to be seen with her is because he was embarrassed of himself, right? Yeah. Which I think that is still an element. But I liked that later on he was like, I didn't want anybody to know that we knew each other because I didn't want those guys to like know about her. I didn't want her to be on their radar, Yeah. And I was like, oh, you've been trying to keep her out of this like shitstorm of your life.
Yeah.
And like the only way that you know how, which is to just like disassociate yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that that was really sad. And I liked that we finally got that scene where he was like, all right, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of these guys. But then you had a new tension where you were like, you're gonna kill this dude.
Yeah,
you're too powerful now. You jumped ship. You've gone from being the biggest weenie at the school to like too powerful. I was like, we get no satisfying fight here.
Yeah.
You know, like this dude is small fry at this point now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can't be on your revenge list anymore because it's literally, you'll kill him.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, that satisfaction that he wants and that we want, it just can't happen anymore. It's like, dang it. I just wanted you to punch that guy once. Like, come on.
You put a lot of enthusiasm into that punch on your table. Like, everything shook. Ah! Yeah, no, when you say that, like, it makes sense. Like, her scenes definitely make sense why they didn't have as much weight in the beginning, but definitely built up. I just wish, it made me laugh because almost every single one, especially in the beginning of the chapter covers, were, like, of only the girls. It was the teacher, the health advisor, and her. And I was like, so that made me,
over,
yeah,
so it was just like panty shot every time.
Really,
like,
really suggestive poses or just looking really adorable. I was like, okay, they're obviously gonna have bigger roles because they're constantly in the cover photos.
Nah.
One was there as literally to be like, this guy's a dick a lot of times as a sex object, and the other girl was there as like, best friend who's the hottest girl in school. Like, you protect her. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the lady representation isn't super strong in this manga yet.
Not yet.
So I'm hoping that we get more we've literally, like, even health teacher, we only seen her like fight kind of once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to see more.
It was that random bar scene one.
Yeah, it was, I like you. Okay, bye.
It was almost like they put that in there just so she had a fight scene.
Yeah.
But anyway, go on. I didn't interrupt you.
Oh, all I was gonna say is I hope that we have more lady representation in the battles in the future, and I'm hoping that that's where the little girl will come in.
Yeah.
I hope that she'll just be like, Hulk out and be a badass the same way that he hulked out and was a badass, so that it's kind of like, all right, cool,
and then they can Hulk out and be badasses together.
Yay! and then Angry Prodigy Kid will be like, what the fuck is happening?
Angry Prodigy Kid will just do as usual and then be a badass with them.
Yeah,
it'll be the trio. It'll become a superhero manga. Manhwa. Let's talk. We haven't super talked about Teacher Dude. We've touched on him here and go in each other sections, but
yeah.
What were your impressions of him, like, at the beginning and then towards the end of what we read? Because they're vastly different for me.
I fucking hated him at the beginning of this manga. I was like, oh my god, you're that guy. You're just that, like, flippant, whatever, dude. I'm so cool because I just don't even care. And I was like, stop it. And then over time, he got to be, I don't feel like the character changed, really. I feel like he became far more interesting, though.
Yeah.
I want to know more about him, and I like his interactions with other characters a lot.
Yeah.
But at first, just on his own, I was like, all right, just like with the rest of it, I was like, I've seen this character before. And I typically really hate this character. This character that's just like, I do what I want. I'm super cool. I don't have any rules because I play by my own.
And then he smokes a cigarette and then throws it out and, like, has his sunglasses.
And just like has just met the hot teacher and is like, come on, baby, let's bang on the roof. I was like, stop.
That was so funny. He was like trying to get in the pants of the teacher and then, like,
and then the kid ran out to commit suicide. Anybody who hasn't read this manga is like, this is terrible. No, but seriously,
it was
like,
funny.
The main kid runs out and is like, maybe I should just end it all. Maybe I should just jump off the roof now. And meanwhile, they're both like have no clothes on the roof, just like, are we gonna? So good, that scene. That was like probably the first time in that manga where I was like, what is happening? I started laughing really hard.
It was really funny. It was very all set up, definitely, to be like the kid falls because the side rail is rusty and old, and so they both fall off of it, and so the kid fainted. Of course.
Right, of course.
And
then the teacher got to save him.
But didn't like have to show him his powers, so the kid was like, how did I get saved? And just like, it was very standard. It was like at the beginning, like we said, this was a very standard story.
Yeah.
Like setup, and then it started getting really interesting. The final fight scene, with him and the government official, where he got super pissed. There was like the close up on his mouth, and he's like, "You know nothing." And
when was this?
Chapter
what
36.
Fight was this?
Chapter 36.
I read it a few days ago. What happened in it?
It was when he was fighting against the disciple of the one dude he had killed in the construction building.
Yes.
And then the other dude comes up and is like, I'm a government official.
Oh my god, that was so funny. I remember that now. That dude was like, I'm totally gonna... Okay, that guy was so in love with the other dude.
Oh, totally.
Like, so in love with him. It was amazing. He was just like, I'm gonna rip this guy apart. And I was like, do you even understand what's going on here? And then he's like, I'm totally gonna beat you up. And that teacher dude was just like, I'm sorry,
chucking him into like walls and shit.
It was so sad. For all of the revenge in his heart, it did not do him any good.
Not at all. That love was not ever avenged.
Yeah, it was not. But yeah, the government official dude also cracked me up because, I don't know. Like, I couldn't quite tell what he wanted to get out of that situation, but in the end, he just looked like a dummy. It's just like...
He just looked so stupid. It's like, I'm a government official, here's my gun. And the guy's like, yeah, martial artist died a gun, but you know you're, like, threatening right now? And the guy's like, I didn't mean that!
He's like, I mean, sure, if you manage to shoot me, it'll hurt, but you know who I am, right? It's just like,
so funny. But yeah, and then he brought, like, we got that information drop that, that teacher is involved in, like, that Black Defiance? Is that what it was called? I think that's what it was called. It's Black D. He was involved in the Black D.
He's involved in the Big Black D.
The Big Black D.
Yeah.
So he is involved in that, and then he brings up the fact that the two worlds are starting to merge, and that dropped that interesting tidbit about how government officials are aware that the martial art world exists, but the rule is that martial arts need to keep their stuff in the martial art worlds, and when they start bringing it into the normal world, that's when they are going to get involved.
Yeah, and that's when they're referred to as a breaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because they're breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules, guys. I'm going to say that to my kid in the future whenever they get in trouble. Or like, are you being a breaker right now?
Are you being a breaker right now?
Being a breaker? So yeah.
Time out.
Getting time out, you breaker. So that's when they brought up, they gave us that piece of information about that, and we got to see him incredibly pissed off about the mention of his master. And then we see that of all the people, because there's a lot of people going for revenge in this manga at a bunch of different times, but his felt the most dangerous by far. Just the way that he was drawn, the perspective, the shadowing and the shading, the words that were used.
Yeah, I feel like there was some sort of very big event that we haven't quite gotten all of the information on.
Yeah.
Like, I think that everybody's masters, I think, got involved in something really big. And that's where all of these revenge, fluctuations are coming from, is because so many people got involved in this thing, like a coup of some sort almost.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to find out more about that. Also, if we can talk about art really quick.
Yeah. Oh, actually, just really fast. Everybody in the comments is telling me how wrong I was. It's defense, not defiance. Also, Dr. Darkness says it's called the Black Forest defense, and everyone's yelling defense. Guys, we're on a lag. Okay?
Defense!
It's like going into all caps.
Whatever.
We know now.
It's still the Black D, so I don't know what you guys are all upset about.
No. Big. Oh, whoops. Big Black D.
D.
Always. Oops. My chat freaked out, so I just said A's. A's. Big Black D. A's. Anyway, Art, go ahead.
I loved the way that Teacher Dude's face was drawn whenever he got kind of in that, like, oh, you want to fight right now face?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it like kind of terrified me. The look on his face sometimes, I was like, yep, okay. Yeah. Also, like, the face that I tweeted the other day of the...
So good. Of Mama. That's what I call him.
Hey, we meet again, cutie, that guy?
Mommy.
Yeah, that guy.
Mommy.
I agree with you. The art was like, okay at the beginning, and then got really clean when it mattered. When like the cool fights started to happen, it got real clean. So I was like, yay.
Yeah, it got really clean, and the way that the manhwa artist Manhwaka.
Yeah, Manhwaka. What is the term for that? Chat.
I feel like every time we do a manhwa, we like we always ask this question, and then we find out who it is, and we tweet at them. That is the standard. That is what happens every single time.
I just want to know if they're called manhwagakas.
Yeah. Manhwagakas.
That's all I need to know. If somebody could confirm or deny whether or not they're called manhwagakas. That's all I need.
Manhwagakas. I really loved the way that the manhwagaka drew fight scenes in...
Keep going, I'm sorry.
Manhwagaka. The way that they drew the fight scenes and how it was almost like a flip book. In the same panel, it would be the person doing the same movement, like the entire movement. It wasn't one panel on one movement, the next panel on the next, like, full body turn, one landing on his feet, then the next one kicking. It was really neat just to see it compressed in that way without it feeling dirty or too compact, which I really liked.
Yeah, I felt like I could follow things really easily still.
Yeah. It felt like you were just watching a martial arts movie.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. Everybody's saying Manhaka and Manhwaka.
Mahaka. Mahaka. Oh my god. This is my favorite Mahaka.
Man, that Mahaka did so good with the story.
Oh god, my keyboard's in all caps, but I don't have the heart to take it off. What do you call? It's a manhwa.
Somebody goes, Metallic Z goes, Dodger's chickens for her stream video make more sense now.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's so dumb.
Oh.
The art is great.
It's really good.
I love Shimun's outfits. I have a huge soft spot for his type of character, and the soft spot grows when they wear really cute clothes, even if they're sweatpants, but if they have hoods, especially the hoodie with the short sleeves. I don't know what it is, but I really like those on anime characters. And he reminded me a lot of Daisuke Niwa from DN Angel, which made me like him a lot more even. So
I can see that. I can see that parallel.
They're very similar, and so I really liked his character design. Just how at the beginning, like, it's a very standard, typical character design. Like, each of the character designs in this manhwa definitely you were never really confused by the character personality given the character design, except for the girl. Like, you're like, oh, she's a child, and then you're like, oh no, she's a tsundere 15-year-old.
Just kidding. Yeah.
But for the most part, anytime you saw a character design, it was pretty straightforward what their personality was going to be, which isn't a bad thing. But I really did like all of the character designs. They were very distinct from one another sometimes. Even, like, with the Mafia families, there were a few times where I was like, wait, which is this character, that same character? But for the most part, I was pretty easily able to tell everybody apart.
Yeah, I always really appreciate that in a manga with a lot of characters when I'm like, I know who everyone is. Like, I can pretty much, I can't remember their names, but I can pretty much, keep track of who each person is in terms of what they look like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sweatpants on anime characters are great. I don't know why.
Best
but
ever.
I did like their, I did love all of the outfits, too. And, like, I liked how they changed. That's something, I've said this before, if you watch Manga Pod before, I've said a lot of times about how I really enjoy it when a mangaka or mawaka goes mahaka? They go into and take the time to change the outfits on their characters. It's not just the same outfit over and over. So I really appreciated that because it does take more creativity and more effort. Even if it's just a different style of sweatsuit, it's still a different style of sweatsuit that you have to draw.
Oh,
again.
for sure.
And
I feel like, it just shows like another level of care. As long as the rest of it still makes sense and is clean.
Yeah.
Because every now and then you read a manga where you're like, God, this is gorgeous. And then when you're done, you're like, nothing happened in that.
Yeah.
But it was gorgeous. You can tell that the person writing and drawing it cared way more about the look of it than the actual story.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody who cares a lot about how it looks and the storyline, it's like, mwah.
Yeah. It's like perfect.
So happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, there's been a lot of, something that did surprise me is we've read Tower of God and Noblesse before, and I've read Wake Up Dead Man, which is another manhwa. And the style of Breaker was very different from other manhwa that I've read in that
it felt far more
manga-y.
like manga.
Yeah, it felt very manga-y, which isn't a bad thing. It's just I was expecting, when I hear manhwa, I was expecting a very different art style and a different format. But I'm not complaining about it because it was nice to be used to it.
Yeah.
But I did really like the art, especially as it went along and we got more action sequences and just got to see the characters fight, which I think is a really strong point of this artist's talent. And character designs were really fun, I think, too. So I really liked the art, definitely. So.
Yeah, I really liked the manga in general. It really surprised me. And I didn't even realize, I had no idea how many people really loved this manga until I was already done reading what we were supposed to be reading. And then, tweeted about it, and everybody was like, oh my god, I love The Breaker!
Yeah, they got so excited!
Yeah, so I'm glad we got to read this for you guys.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we finally got to read this one. I always feel so excited when people get really happy that we're reading a certain thing. No, you froze! No! We're so close! Don't leave me. Don't you leave me. No! 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 I see you no! Come back to me! Hold on, guys. We'll BRB. We'll be right back. Hold on. What happened? I don't know. Nothing happened.
Who even knows? I don't know.
I like in the chat that us both at the same time we're like, no! just keyboard smashing.
I'm just so glad you could read what I was typing.
Yeah, I played it smart after the first time it crashed. I was like, I'm gonna keep the chat up just in case so we can read.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're pretty close to being done anyway.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to touch on, or do you want to do final thoughts and ratings?
I don't think so. about everything.
Yeah, I think we talked about everything I wanted to talk about too. We touched on pretty much everything. So, final thoughts and ratings. Would you like to go first, or I can go?
I can go first.
Okay, hit it.
I think that I'm going to give it a. I've been trying to decide if I want to give it an 8 or an 8.5 because I did like super enjoy it, but it didn't blow my mind at all. It's just really engaging and really fun. I think I'll give it an 8.
Yeah.
I really love the characters. I'm really excited to see where the story goes. But again, it's like, it's a shonen manga about fighting and stuff and a guy who was weak becoming strong. We've all read it before. But that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. So I definitely recommend it. I'm going to give it an 8. And if you guys hung out to hear all of these spoilers, I hope that you're still inspired to go and read it.
Yes, exactly. I agree 100% with that. I think I'm going to give it an 8 as well because it wasn't anything outstanding or unique, but what it did really well. Like, it took those standard tropes and didn't necessarily improve on them, but still did a really good job with bringing them together and also setting up the future plotline in a really interesting way. And so I'm going to give it an 8. I thought the art was fantastic. I really enjoyed watching the characters grow and learning more about them and seeing them interact more and more. And just, I think the excitement that's already been built up is making me I'm just so excited to like keep reading more and find out what happens in the end. So
Same.
It's a really fascinating idea to have this martial arts world coming into the normal world. Just that idea is really interesting too. So I'm going to give it an 8 because overall I thought it was super solid. I didn't think it was outstanding or super unique, but it was definitely a solid manhwa.
Yeah. And my crack ship happened.
Yeah! Oh my gosh.
I was so excited. I was like, this isn't actually going to happen.
Immediately after it happened, I was like, oh my god, it did happen. I want to send Dodger fanfic, and I couldn't find any. I was so sad. Yeah! Like, fanfiction and archive.
Doesn't
like,
exist?
None. I didn't see any. I don't know if I just didn't miss it, but it was...
How?
Everybody write Dodger. Email Prodigy Dude X, X Shinwoo fanfiction, please. Send it to her on Tumblr or Twitter at DexBonus.
If you guys could just, like, step up right now, that would be really
Did you see my retweets of Deadpool X Levi?
No.
Yesterday, after the Marvel Attack on Titan thing was announced, I was like,
I'm going
all I want from this is for Levi and Deadpool to become best friends. And then immediately after that, I went Deadpool X Levi OTP. And I told people to draw me a Deadpool X Levi fan art. And, like, tons of people did it. It made me so happy. Also, Armin X Hulk. That's one that Nintendo Fan for the Win wanted. And somebody drew one of those. And it's just Hulk hanging onto the side wall of, like, Wall Maria or whatever. And then Armin clutched in his arm. And they're both just really happy. And there's a Titan behind it. It's so
I just retweeted one.
good. It's so good. I did like the Deadpool line of where he's like, "Would you like to see a 1 meter class, senpai?" So good. Anyway, yeah, we both highly recommend this. We give it 8 out of 10. We think it is fantastic, and you should definitely go spend time reading it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up the description for what we're reading next week. Keep them entertained.
Yeah, but you guys get to guess what the title of it is. Erin is going to read it in such a fashion where she does not give away the title of the manga/manhwa. I actually don't know what we're reading next. So, it's going to be a fun game for you all.
Yeah! And with the delay, it's going to work out
with the delay, it's going to be great.
Okay. The students of blank 3E have a mission. Kill their teacher before graduation. He has already destroyed the moon and has promised to destroy the earth if he cannot be killed within a year. But how can this blank of misfits kill a tentacled monster capable of reaching Mach 20 speed, who may be the best teacher of any of them have ever had? That's what it says.
This is another one that everybody has said is, like, really good. Like, they're so excited for us.
It's not Tower of God.
It's not Tower of God.
Nope. We'll see.
Chat won't load for me, so it's up to you to know when somebody guesses.
Okay, it's going. I'm sure maybe. Mawaka. Mawaka. Assassination Classroom. Yeah, everybody's getting it. Yay! Woo! Yay! Wow, a lot of people got it. They're so excited. That's awesome. I think it's getting an anime. It does not have it yet. I think it's coming out in January. So they're coming out January, winter season or spring season. But yes, it is getting an anime. We are reading Ass Class, as it is commonly. Ass Class, written by the manga. Oh, we're falling apart. Ass Class. Oh my. Yes, we are reading volumes 1 through 5, chapters 1 through 43 with special guest Dakota Broski, who joined us for Pandora Hearts Manga Pod.
Yeah.
So he will be joining us for that next week. Shall we go ahead and shout out our stuff?
Yes.
Okay. I go first, don't I?
Yeah, you do. It's all you, girl. Girl, it's all you.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. My name is Erin of Happily Erin. You're here on my channel watching this manga pod. I do anime reviews and anime first impressions at the start of new seasons, and I also do all of the previous manga pods are here hosted on my channel, and I'm doing a Let's Play of Five Nights at Freddy when I feel like adding more to that and going back into that hell, but the first 2 parts of that are currently up. I have a... Wait, no, I also wanted to say I do mental health awareness stuff as well. I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, all of those fancy dancy stuff, and I'm Happily Erin all the way across the board. Come talk to me on Twitter, tweet me, Deadpool X Levi fanfiction, please.
Yes, beautiful. Hi, guys. I'm Dodger. I have 2 YouTube channels, youtube.com/PressHardToContinue, where I do gaming and gaming adjacent-y things. And then I also have Press Hard
to Bonus.
I also have Press Hard to Bonus. I also have youtube.com/DexterityBonus, where I do a daily vlog and drink coffee and talk about my cats. And I would love to have you in either of those places. And on all the social medias, I'm at DexBonus, DEXBONUS. So that's me.
Go ahead and tweet her emo-haired prodigy dude X Shiwoon fanfiction, please. Or fan art. Both are good. If also you could do a crossover of Shiwoon X emo-haired prodigy dude with Deadpool X Levi. You can tweet that to both.
It could be all 4 of them together.
OT4.
Just so in love OT4.
That's the crackiest of anything.
It's just like, how did this even happen?
That's like during Tower of God pod when it was just Yoku and I really wanted people to draw me Killua X Kun. Because they're the same person. Yeah. It's self-cessed. Self-cessed is best-cessed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. If you would like to find the other 2 lovely ladies of our podcast, all of their information in the description box down below. They're Yokorama Game Talk and Fighting for Nippon, aka Dr. Daz. Thank you guys so much for watching our manhwa pod on the Breaker chapters 1 through 36. Thanks.
Yeah.
You guys are great. Thanks for enduring our dropping of the calls and our wakas.
My wakas.
Thanks for joining our my wakas. Bye. Bye. My waka. My waka.